people in New England down there. We got hotel rooms for everybody for the night. There was booze and food, and it was unbelievable. They were just spending money like it was going out of style.
And, well, okay, that's a nice thing to do for employees, I suppose. It's got nothing to do...
Not really for employees. It was more for, we were schmoozing, radio people. And
oh, I see.
And we'd fly radio people in for shows. We were spending a lot of money that year.
Is it all attributable to Krauss, or were there any other biggies?
Well, there's lots of stuff we were doing. We had these big 25th anniversary tours, going a bluegrass tour and a
right.
Louisiana music tour. We just did a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think very much of it paid off, or if any of it. So I think after that they really pulled back the reins again, and it was back to, it was back to almost nothing. But
how hard did you work that Alison Krauss record? Was that really?
Oh, we worked it hard, and we were all making country radio calls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Leslie and I were,
right,
which was demoralizing because the first single came out with the help of
the Keith Whitley
DNA, I guess, and it got to number 2. And then the second one we did on our own without the major label help, and we couldn't get in the top 40, even though it won the Grammy for Best Country Song. So and that was horrible. I mean, it's so frustrating just realizing how little power Rounder had with those people. Just calling up a name they didn't know, a label they'd barely heard of.
Interesting.
We had no, leverage. There's nothing we could do. We couldn't say, hey, if you don't play this record, we'll, there's nothing.
Right.
And it's like, well, in 3 months we'll come back with a Tishina Hosa record. They didn't care.
Right.
So that was a horrible experience. It was just really, really frustrating, and it was just finding out. We're so used to dealing with bluegrass DJs, or whatever, or Americana programmers who liked Rounder, and we'd call up and they'd spark up and they'd be in the city what we had to offer, and they would assume that it was good, and it was a totally different thing where these people had no respect for Rounder, and it was very, very hard.
Did you ever get a chance to go back there after '95 and to those same stations about anything and see if attitudes were different? Or?
Well, Alison had another record a year or two later, So Long, So Wrong.
Right.
Which we shouldn't even have tried. It was even less, commercial than the one before, certainly. And
right.
It was a complete disaster.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't even have been tried. It wasn't even a good song. It was Find My Way Back to My Heart, which is probably the worst song on that record.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just chosen. It was like, well, it's the right length, and the intros are right. We do stuff like that. We didn't really know what we were doing, I think, and we'd make these decisions. Well, how would the major labels do? Well, let's see. Well, it's got the right length intro, and it's the right tempo, and it's the right length, so we'll use this song. And no one noticed it wasn't a very good song, and
okay.
No one seemed to like it very much. So of course it flopped, and so that was frustrating. And after that, we with Heather Miles again. We tried country radio and had very, very moderate success.
Right.
Which is really failure, I guess, would be the way to describe it.
Yeah, and that's a real country record. That's surprising.
Yeah, that was the problem, I guess.
Right. Okay. Were there high hopes for that record?
For Heather Miles, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And we certainly worked it as if it were going to be successful. We gave it the best shot. But again, a lot of times Rounder, we didn't really know what we were doing so much.
I'm wondering, because people are saying that's a time in which country radio wasn't really playing country records, and so to try to push something that was a country record, does suggest that you didn't even know what country radio wanted.
Well, in a way, I think it shows what's best about Rounder, though. We put out a really good record.
Yes.
And that was always the thing that I liked about Rounder. I mean, we would put out great records and then try to market them, which I thought was the way to go about it.
And you think that was pretty much true consistently?
Yeah, very rarely. I mean, a couple times. I remember with the Carrie Newcomb record, we encouraged her to put a certain song listed first on the album because it was the best radio song, and she was willing to do that. But only in very minor ways would we ever.
But it was a song that she had written and was going to put on the record anyway. It was just placement.
Number 3 to number 1. That was the kind of thing we might possibly rarely do.
Right.
But basically, our best success was with getting good artists and leaving them alone, letting them make great records, and then trying to promote them. And that's Alison's a perfect example of that.
Right.
Nothing she's done has followed any sort of blueprint for how you become a successful artist. I mean, her records don't sound like anything else.
Right.
They don't sound like anything on the radio, but she's done great. So, so the Heather Miles was the same thing. She made a great record. We gave her best shot to promote it. It didn't work, but I don't think that's. I think it's kind of a proud.
Sure.
I think that's okay. I feel good about that.
And they just did another one. It's not as good, but it's a decent record.
Oh, really? Yeah. I got a copy of it.
What? I just lost my question. Oh yeah. what role, if any, in your department in radio did Rounder would put out all these other kinds of funky records like Fiddling from the Ozarks or things like that. I mean,
Hollerin'.
Hollerin' goes back to the 70s, but even in the 90s, you'd release one that sticks in my mind because it was lying on the floor, boxes and boxes of them. And the first visit I made to the warehouse was called Kentucky Old Time Banjo. This was around 98 or 99. And it was new stuff, relatively new stuff, but it was by old guys in Kentucky. It wasn't by touring artists. What role would a record... And Rounder still puts things like that out.
Yeah, we would mail those out to the stations to play the stuff, and that was it.
I see.
If someone called up and wanted a copy, we'd send it to them. But
it would get sent out, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had all sorts of different mailing lists, and it was really complicated, but
right.
There was almost nothing that went out to nobody. Some of the reissue stuff we wouldn't send out unless you asked for it, but anything that was a new release.
But would somebody get on the internet or at least send out a tear sheet to you'd have to advise people of the record's existence, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but publicists definitely did that. I don't remember if we routinely sent out notices to radio people.
Okay.
That we did, because if we had, then we would end up having to send 500 old-time records out to people who wouldn't have played them anyway, probably.
Right, but publicists would handle print media?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, they'd get stuff out to Bluegrass Unlimited or Old Time Herald or things like that?
Yeah, those guys would definitely get it, for sure.
Okay. What was the reaction of the big boss? What was the top-down reaction to the success of Krause Now That I Found You in '95? Was everybody rewarded? Were people thanked? Was there some...
they gave us platinum records, which was cool. So not mine.
Really? Okay.
That was nice. It wasn't a huge deal. I mean, we had a double platinum party for them. We went bowling with those guys. Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah, when they were in Boston, we took Alvin Cussing Station out bowling, and they made up double platinum bowling shirts. I'm sure this was all Brad and JJ's idea. It sounds like their style.
Right.
So that was fun. That was about the biggest thing they did. Sort of, they invited all the workers out, so that was fun.
Right.
It wasn't a huge deal, though. I don't think.
Okay.
I mean, it was obviously a huge deal money-wise and all that, but
right.
As far as the owners, the way they treated the workers, it wasn't a huge switch.
Do you remember any other records that stick in your mind as things that were either big successes or disasters or particularly telling projects, anything of that nature?
Oh, I'm trying to think. There were some disasters. Disappear Fear was pretty awful.
Right. Just in terms of commerciality?
In terms of the way it sounded.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see. I'm not having any one. I mean, the biggest disaster of all by far was Greg Ken. That was the biggest joke ever.
Well, I didn't even know you did Greg Ken.
It was on Clean Cuts, one of the labels we distributed out of Delaware, I think.
Uh-huh.
And he decided to reinvent himself as a folk artist.
I remember Greg Ken as an innovative rock artist in the 70s. I was living in San Francisco.
He's the biggest DJ out here now in San Jose.
Yeah, I know. I read that because I wondered what happened to him, but I remember when...
he still plays the Greg Ken band some. But yeah, he did 2 horrible, horrible folk records and did some terrible shows in Boston, which isn't really part of your book, I don't think. But
right.
But it was hysterical. It was very, very bad.
What'd they sell? 200 copies?
Oh, they were horrible. Oh, they sold terrible. But he came up and did a show at Johnny D's in Somerville, and he done the BCN morning show in Boston that morning. He still had friends from the rock days,
Yeah.
We got the BCN music directors out to come to the show, and Greg was off. By halfway through the second song, they had left.
Oh, God.
There was out of 10 people there, and Greg Ken was berating the poor people who were still left there and yelling at them.
Man.
It was a wonderful night. It was unbelievable.
Did you have did you ever know what direction the company was going to go next when you were out there promoting their records, or did these records just sort of descend upon you?
I guess the assumption was the company wasn't going to go in any direction. It's going to stay where it was, which is fine with me. I like the way it was.
Okay. Well, that's the direction. But I mean, it was going to be a kind of roots-oriented. Yeah. I mean, did you ever get any feedback as to whether they wanted to focus more on, current hot touring bluegrass acts than reissues, or cut out the old time shit, or anything of that nature?
There's never talk about making any big switch like that. I mean, there was always we were going to keep doing bluegrass. We were going to keep doing old time.
And there were certainly interesting signings. I mean, Bruce Molsky came on in the 90s.
Yeah.
And made some
blazers were around, which people love. I mean, people in the office love blazers.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff that got people fired up.
Yeah.
There was the Delavantes, which we worked really hard on, which didn't really take off.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, it was so overwhelming how much stuff there was. You know, Cheryl Wheeler, we worked really hard on.
Yeah.
But she was another one of those artists who really didn't want to be more popular than she was, I don't think.
Uh-huh.
You know, she didn't want to do radio interviews or wear makeup or brush her hair or anything, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that happened to a lot of people. There are a lot of people who were okay where they were. You know, J.D. Crowe, for example, that guy didn't want to do radio interviews.
Uh-huh.
He wanted to sleep in and, you know, hang out and, you know. And that was the case with a lot of artists. And then the other hand, people like Carrie Newcomer, who were very organized, you know, had to check their email every hour and weren't doing anything. And you know, Vance Gilbert is the same way. So.
And has she done well? I mean, she works, but has she done well?
Okay, I guess. I mean, she's never broken through to another level.
Right.
She does okay, I'm sure.
And Van seems to have disappeared. I mean, I know he's out there, but he...
Yeah, he's not involved around anymore.
Yeah. All right, well, I get a kind of mixed sense. I mean, that while the feeling within changed, what was coming out didn't change.
399, except for a couple exceptions, Stephen Smith being a hugely obvious one, Zoe stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that was coming right when I was leaving. And Del McCurry Band had left, which was my favorite band.
Right.
When they got stolen away by Skag, so...
Yeah.
That was when I was starting to think, well, this is only going to get worse. It's not going to get better.
I do see a lot of the bluegrass. Third Time Out, I noticed, has just made a record with somebody else.
On their own, I think.
Okay, is that it? And I don't know if it's really a group, but it was certainly a project close to Ken's heart. The third Longview record came out on Sugar Hill, I believe.
Oh, that's cold. I didn't know about that. That's awful.
Yeah.
That was totally Ken's baby.
Yeah. I think it's Sugar Hill or maybe Copper Creek, but I think it's Sugar Hill, but it's gone.
I think Sugar Hill is really stepping up.
Yeah.
But there was a point, like 96, 97, where you go to IVMA, and I mean, all the best acts were around there. It was unbelievable.
Right.
I mean, it was so much fun. Just go down there. It would be Third Time Out, Del McCurry Band, Allison, you know, everyone. You know, Claire Lynch.
Did you work with the Rhonda Vincent, Claire Lynch records at all? The ones
Claire
that
Lynch
did
all the time. Rhonda, I think her first record came out right about the time I was leaving.
Okay. I'm wondering what it's got to be like to be a female bluegrasser on Alison Krauss's label. Is that?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them, but...
Okay, yeah.
Boy, talking to Claire Lynch on the phone is something you ought to try, though.
Why is that?
She's got the sexiest voice ever.
Is that right?
Oh, it's fantastic. I just used to love 7 Degrees of Claire Lynch. Hey, this is Claire Lynch.
Oh, so what's your take on the company? Are they going to sell out and go corporate, or just leave? I mean, sell out literally and take the money and run?
I sure wouldn't know what's on Ken's mind, but I mean, obviously don't see much of a passion in Bill or Marion for it anymore.
Right.
Ken, I would imagine, will do something. I mean, I think he didn't like doing the business side stuff anyway. He likes signing bands.
Yeah.
And helping them make good records and finding cool songs for them to record.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't be happy just doing that.
Whenever I talk to try and pick Ken pretty closely, and I'm pretty comfortable talking to him now, although I don't do it a lot, but I do every now and then. But I and if I want to ask him about disputes or changes in tone or different personnel things, he always tells me, I don't really know anything about it. I didn't make the decision to bring the guy on. I don't know anything about it. He once told me, an artist told me that after many, many years with the company, when it came time for contract renewal, for the first time he got himself a lawyer to look at the contract because it was so different from what he was used to doing with Rounder. And when I asked Ken about that same issue, he's able to pass it off. He just said, I haven't seen one of our contracts in 20 years. So it's like, okay, I don't know if it's a pose, a ploy, or if it's really real. I can't imagine he doesn't know as much as he says he doesn't know, but it's hard to tell.
Oh, man. I'll get you for the stories about Ken's cheapness, right?
Oh, yeah. And
the best one was when he brought in a half-eaten tray of pastries from the hotel room hallway and served it in our suite.
Yeah.
There's millions of those.
Well, I've seen Ken's cheapness. I mean, I've been on the end of... Marion once wanted to take me out to dinner with and this was her thing all the way. She just wanted to do this. I don't really know why. I don't feel like a guy that needs to be taken out to dinner, and usually I'll eat Chinese food or something like that. But she wanted to go to this. Well, we did go to this very dark, very white tablecloth restaurant in Newburyport, up where she lives. And Ken was so out of his mind that he was like walking around the table as we're trying to eat. He's up and trying to get. The whole thing made him uncomfortable. The whole tone. Yeah. And I don't think Ken dislikes me. He's talked to me. I think that just that whole presenting themselves that way and spending the money just bothered him.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, one other thing, you're talking about just changes over those years. I mean, one thing that changed a whole lot was, like, when the first couple of years, like on Friday afternoons, 3 o'clock, we'd go out and get a case of beer and bring it back to the office. And,
right.
We had Silly Hat Day every year, which they shut down. I mean, I think Paul Foley actually said you can't have Silly Hat Day anymore.
Is that right?
Because Ken used to get into it. I remember one Silly Hat Day, Ken was wearing a silly hat and riding a bike through the warehouse. That was one of my favorite rounder moments. It was really funny just watching him.
They shut it down? Now, putting aside who actually did it, why did they say they shut it down? Too frivolous? What?
Yeah, they shut down all the like kind of frivolous, fun things like that they thought were distracting. There'd be lots of them. We'd have these goofy, just these wacky people in the accounting office who would arrange these ridiculous days like that. I can't remember what the other ones were, but you dress up or do goofy stuff.
Right.
And they, when Paul came along, all that stuff got shut down.
Well, let me give you a sense that I had when I read the stories about Glenn Jones and Paul Foley. One of the they had this rigid 3 strikes against Jones, and one of them was he was late 3 times or something like that. And I think that's literally what it was. That was considered 1 strike. He was late 3 times and he hit his peak. And I looked at the picture of Glenn it was probably the Phoenix. I looked at the picture of this guy. I knew he'd been there since the 70s. I read a little bit about his background, and I said, this guy's probably been late 10,000 times.
Oh.
The only difference is that they didn't care.
Oh, that's certainly true, yeah.
Yeah, they just finally decided to care when it was necessary to care for other purposes. Is that's your sense as well?
No, there's no question. Obviously he got kicked out because he made a big stink about Paul's wife. There's no question that those two are related, I don't think, in anyone's mind.
Okay. But it sounds like a lot of people just went back, just sort of shrugged it off eventually and went on back to work because it was a cool job.
The stomach there was for it. He really was getting fired up and wanted people to... I think maybe there's a little picketing at one of the shows. I'm not positive exactly. That was gone by then. But, I mean, in the end, there's something he could do. They brought him in and sat him down and bought him off. Like, we'll give you this much money if you
he settled.
Go away. And he didn't really have any other thing to do.
Yeah, I guess he could have fought for his job back, but then he would have had to work there.
No, that would have been awkward. Yeah, he'd pretty much burned that bridge.
Yeah. Who do you think was I guess I don't know if we talked about Bing Broderick. You said he was a real guy with a lot of soul internally.
He's a great guy,
Yeah, and he left. Do you know why he left at all?
I can't recall, but I would imagine he was sort of seeing the same thing everyone else was seeing, that the old-timers who had lots of knowledge about music weren't valued, and the people that knew nothing were going to get promoted over them. But I hate to put words in his mouth.
I understand, okay.
That would be my hunch.
Yeah, okay. And, all right, well, I kind of get the sense that I have. Is there anything else you think is real important in your story of Rounder that we haven't touched upon? We've been talking about an hour, which is...
I'm trying to think. So much. We've covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And if I think of anything else, maybe I'll drop you an email or something. But
okay.
Before I let you go, let me get you Glenn Dicker's information.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Hold on. I'm not finding it, so I'll just drop you an email with that stuff.
Okay, we're talking about Glenn Dicker and Steve Burton. I don't know.
I know I have Dickers, and I can probably track down Burton. And Glenn Jones certainly could do that for you.
Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate it, Shay. Thanks a lot. Hey, did you know Randy, my friend who was with me in San Francisco? Was he someone you'd had contact with? I don't know if you saw him.
Fed.
Yeah,
I know Randy.
Oh, okay. And how do you know him from?
I met him at Folk Alliance, I guess, in IBMA both.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I talked to him on the phone before that when he was at Freight, and I would be working on promotion for those shows.
Oh, I see.
But I see him at all those conferences for years there.
Okay, what would you do with venue guys when you were working? Just as if we get back to that real quickly, I understood.
We varied a lot. Some people, some of the venue guys would call us and say, we got the show coming to town, and make sure you call. We could probably get them on KPFA. At 2:00 on this show, you should call them.
I see.
Their markets really well, and could help us out like that.
Okay.
They varied a lot, and some of them we never heard from at all.
Okay.
Some we just wanted, want posters for their show or whatever. We'd send them to them. But,
right.
But Randy's definitely one who was connected and knew how Rounder worked.
Right.
it really helped. I mean, it's just Rounder was a funny beast. Like if you knew people knew who to call, you could get things done. And some artists never did figure it out and never knew who to talk to. And there's certain people you could call, and your call never get returned, and other people you could call and would make things happen. So it's a strange place.
I think that's the sense that I get from a number of artists, which is that some people just have no problem with it, and other people find it infuriating.
Yeah.
Okay. Because largely it's a system. It sounds ultimately it's a system. The artist has to work their company really hard. They have to find out who to call. They have to call them and get things done. Otherwise, they can get lost in the shuffle real easily.
Yeah, I would say being a squeaky wheel definitely.
All right. All right. Well, Shay, thanks a great deal. And if you could send me that, if you're able to dig it up, I'd really appreciate it.
I will. And if you have follow-up questions, you want to call or email,
okay.
It's fine with me.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Take care, man.
All right. Bye-bye.